Hey guys, I hope you're doing great. This is Florian. I'm the host of today's webinar. Just let me know that you see the screen and that you hear my audio correctly. Give me a 2 in the questions panel down here. This is also where you can ask questions if anything is unclear during the entire webinar. So just let me know. Give me a 2 in the questions panel on the right hand side should be on your screen, so I know that my audio and my video is working correctly. Thank you, Matthew. Can you also see the screen on the presentation box? Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this quick update, and thank you for joining in on this webinar. Today, I'm going to share with you a simple 7-step process that gets you, if you're a busy vegan entrepreneur and professional, in the best shape of your life. So who is this for? I don't want to waste your time here, so I want to make sure that you're in the right place right now. So this is for vegans that are driven in other areas of their life, but just can't seem to get the hang on fitness and nutrition with their busy lifestyle. So you have a busy schedule, but just can't seem to fit fitness in there at the same time. It's for vegans that have been prioritizing business and other areas of life over health, and now are looking to finally get their health under control and build a lean, strong, and an attractive body. And people with skin in the game that have already tried 1 to 2 programs or diets or even personal trainers and realized that they did not work. So in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to show you how to lose 20 to 30 pounds in the next 90 days, even if that number sounds totally crazy to you right now. How to generate an effective and science-backed nutrition and exercise routine so you can get back that old feeling and shape that you crave for without feeling terribly hungry along the way. I'm also going to show you how to get in the best shape of your life and be a great ambassador for our cause, and how to optimize your lifestyle habits to gain an unfair advantage and win in business. And this goes beyond biohacking. We're going to go back to the fundamental principles of energy and performance, and how to follow a nutrition and workout routine that is fit to your busy schedule. I'm going to show you everything you need to know so that you can step off the roller coaster and finally lose your fat and build muscle on a vegan diet using predictable, repeatable systems. Because that is really the problem. Right now, you're using a system, you're using a process where you're on a roller coaster ride, which means it goes up and down and up and down without a lot of predictability. And today I'm going to show you everything so this becomes a predictable and repeatable system, because there is a way. Just making sure that everything is working correctly. Perfect. I'm going to check your questions from time to time. So if any questions pop up, just let me know on the right hand side. You can ask questions right there. Yeah, I'm going to make it as good so I can respond to all of your questions. So this is house rules for today's webinar. This is not get fit quick. It doesn't exist. Okay, if it would exist, I would preach it. But frankly, it doesn't happen this way. This is not do nothing but drink a shake and get your dream body. I mean, everything in here involves work. And this is not starve yourself and win, frankly. And you must be a driven vegan and have the commitment to give this your full shot and follow one course of action. This is not for dabblers or tire kickers. If you have that part covered, I can unlock the floodgates of vegan fitness and performance to you. But without it, I can't help. And it's been great having you here on this webinar, but right now is the time for you to leave. And this might sound quite blunt, but I don't want to waste your time here. Okay, if you're looking for this secret sauce that just get you fit until tomorrow without doing any work, this is not the case. Okay, today I'm going to show you what will work in the most efficient and scientific way, but there's no such thing as a magic pill just now. Also important to know that neither my results or my client results are typical. The people you are going to hear about are hardworking people who put in effort and did the work. The results you get are entirely up to you. Okay, and this is important. You can follow the best system there is that is based on the recent scientific findings, on the best scientific findings. But if you do not do the work, this is not going to work out for you. So does this sound like you? Some days you're amazed with your fitness, but on others, you get absolutely frustrated seeing your weight moving up or down again. You fluctuate between the two deadly extremes, what I call them, being extremely disciplined, starving yourself, feeling hungry, and later being completely undisciplined, overeating, and feeling bad about yourself. Do you know that you need to prioritize health and recovery, but your schedule is so busy that you just can't find the time? This is one of the big ones that I hear with a lot of my clients, is that just they know it's important, but they just, because of other constraints in their life, they're so busy that they just can't find the time. Have you already tried exercising and dieting hard, burning yourself out, and you still didn't see the results that you want? Again, this is a big one. A lot of people that I talk with, they want to see better results by just doing more of what they're already doing. But usually this is a recipe for failure. There's an easier way of losing weight or gaining muscle mass, and this is by applying scientific findings to your training process. It's not doing more of what is not working. So are you looking to get back that shape and the feeling of having less baggage when you were weighing less pounds? And do you feel like exercise and vegan nutrition is a crucial lever in your weight loss success or in your muscle building success if this is your goal, but you just don't seem to have it fully worked out yet? And this, again, big point right here. Do you feel like no matter what you do, you just can't get your body to look the way you want? And this is a quite a drastic feeling, because I know how it felt like when I was at this stage. I just tried multiple diets. I'm gonna go more into this afterwards, and multiple workout schedules, and just didn't work out. And it's especially frustrating if you really excel on other areas of your life. If you have your career covered, if you're in a good relationship, for example, and you just can't seem to get the vehicle that you're living in, so to speak, your body, to look the way you want. And the real problem is that you are stuck in the old model, which I call it, and you haven't moved to the highly effective, highly systemized, and predictable new model of vegan fitness that I'm going to share with you today. So these are some of the results if you do the work that you can expect. You will have complete control over your body and feel like you can change your appearance on demand. You look in the mirror and think, this is exactly how I want to look like. And I can tell you that in the morning, when I look in the mirror, when my clients look in the mirror, they know that this is exactly how they want to look like. And this is a freeing feeling, because once you've achieved this, it's a whole new ball game, because this is the moment where you start to master your body and you start to feel truly confident in who you are. And people will come to you and ask you, how did you do this? You can't possibly be vegan, can you? And this is a big one that I hear. A lot of us think that for us to be more effective at what we're doing, more effective in activism, we need to go out and preach. We need to go out with these signs that meat is murder. And while this is true and this might be effective, what I found out to be the most effective here is to just lead by example and be a positive role model for our vegan cause. How can we do this? By displaying the best shape of our life. You will also fit your clothes perfectly. You will look forward to people taking pictures of you instead of being terrified of the thought. Okay, this is, again, clothes are supposed to fit you perfectly. Clothes are not supposed to be baggy or be too tight at some areas. You want clothes that fit you perfectly, and you don't want to go to the tailor to constantly make sure that they're perfect, you know? So you want clothes to fit you perfectly, and with this model, you can achieve it. Your body and presence will beam with confidence, and will subconsciously communicate success everywhere you go. And you do all of this without fearing that you will lose all your hard-earned results in the end, because this is neither a starvation diet nor a choose fast. And this is extremely important, and I want to stress this point. I hear a lot of people that originally hop on a call with me. They ask me, "Hey, Florian, all sounds good, but I fear that in the end I will gain everything back, or I will lose all my muscles." I mean, this would be true if this would be an unsustainable system, but everything in this system is made out in the fact that I want to make this as sustainable as possible and for the long term as possible. So you will keep your results, because this is not a starvation diet nor a choose fast. So what about me? So why should you listen to me? I mean, there are plenty of people online in this fitness sphere. So what makes me special? So my name is Florian Wüst, and this is a weird last name because I'm from Switzerland. I became an ethical vegan 5 years ago, and I've gotten in the best shape of my life. As an entrepreneur, I run my own coaching company. Beforehand, I was a manager of 5 fitness centers with 10,000 members in Switzerland, and then I just realized that this is not something that I want to do with my life. I can't bear people constantly asking me which kind of chicken breast I should eat. It's not what I want to do with my life, and I want to work with people that actually I really deeply care about, and that's where essentially my journey started into this coaching. And I've been doing this part time during my work as a manager, but now I'm doing it full time since now nearly 2 years. So I've traveled to over 20 countries, and I've given speeches and coached high performers in places such as USA, Ho Chi Minh City, and Bali. Bali is where I am at this moment in time. I'll be moving to Europe in the next couple of months. So my videos have been seen over 1 million times. I have a YouTube channel which gets right now about 100,000 views or so a month, and I specialize in helping vegans get in the best shape of their life by optimizing health and fitness based on solid scientific routines. And this is literally something some people might tell you that they specialize in this, but this is something that I'm literally obsessed about. I want to know every single detail about performance and weight loss and muscle gain down to the first physical principles, because this is the way you really get good at it. Just to make sure that everything is working correctly. Okay, awesome. So, and I'm not just one of those gurus types that just thinks their own prices. So I've worked with a lot of clients, over 120 clients in the past, and Georg Martinka was one of my key clients. He's a serial entrepreneur, and he works 12 hours a day and has no time to think about nutrition and fitness. That's what he told me, and he gained weight because of it. So in the 30 days, he lost more than 10 pounds by working with me. And the best of all, he lost those 10 pounds fully passively and predictably without making much changes or losing sight of his business. In fact, his business is doing better now than ever. And this is what you can expect too. Once you master your body, you will master other areas of your life, because you finally feel that you have this self-control once you're doing it. And this is Adam, again, a busy entrepreneur. And in the beginning, when he started working with me, he had no proper routine and suffered from neck strains and back pain due to long work hours and constant sitting. And the neck strains were so severe that he couldn't focus properly on doing awesome work as an entrepreneur. And this severely impacted his bottom line, he even admitted to me. So now, following a clear routine, and he feels way better and more energized. The occurrences of his back pains are strongly minimized, and he told me that he's finally out of his slump. He's finally out of his negative spiral. And this is Josh. And Josh is actually like it's a fun story. Before he started working with me, he's working in the NHS. He's a manager of a department in a hospital. And before he started working with me, he really loved sugary foods, and he dealt with emotional turmoil by eating comfort foods. And he kept himself awake with caffeine during the day, because NHS, as you probably know, also now during the coronavirus crisis, is a very high stress environment with a lot of sleep deprivation. And I set his mindset straight and helped him think about food in a positive way. And within the 30 days, he went sub 200 pounds of working with me. And right now he's more than 30 pounds down. And by the colleagues in the hospital, he gets called Mr. Smooth, which means, yeah, it's a good compliment for him. And now he's on his way to Jason Statham's physique. So you can also see in this picture, before his face was a little bit inflamed. You could see he didn't have he wasn't looking that healthy, but now he looks like a person that can just deal with a lot of stress. And he just recently got a promotion in his work. So just keep in contact, Josh. So this is Kyle. Maybe some of you might know him. He's a vegan ninja warrior athlete. I also coach athletes. And before he came working to me, he was injured and confused how to further increase his performance. And he wouldn't admit to this publicly, but he doubted his ability to really perform well. And for you that don't know it, I mean, Kyle is a very accomplished athlete. I mean, he has the longest the bar hang record in the US. So he really knows what he's doing. But also, like coaches, and he's a coach too, and athletes, they need support at one moment in time. And Kyle decided to go work with me. So within 90 days of working with me, we optimized his nutrition and lifestyle to the 0.001%. and he focused relentlessly on the essentials, making sure he eats the right stuff at the right time, making sure he trains at the right time. Now, most people don't really need this attention to detail, but if you really want to squeeze the last inch of performance out of your training program, this is what you should do. And after 90 days, his injuries faded away and he went back to number one in the competition, completely overcoming all internal doubts he had because of his injury. So before, actually, when he was going to the competition, he just fell down prematurely. And if you have a lot of status as an athlete, it's horrible if this happens to you, because there's a lot of pressure if people know that you can perform well, but you don't. So after those 90 days, he went back to number one, which is awesome. And that's just the start of it, frankly. The now 5 years that I've been coaching others, I've helped 120 plus vegans in 16 countries get in the best shape of their life. So what is this new model? There are 7 steps that you need to do so you can get in the best shape of your life as a busy vegan entrepreneur and professional. I'm going to share a few of them right now. The number one step, so let's just jump right into it. Number one step, it really goes down to your mindset. And most people think that they have this covered, but they really don't. And this is just the fact to realize that you can change. And before you understand this fundamental principle, nothing is going to work for you. I mean, really, you need to really understand this. Make this part of your identity. Seek out people that have changed your body before and reduce contact with people that tell you that you can't. Because frankly, this is one of the big factors that just reduce your chances of success, is that people tell you that you're changing or you have changed, or what are you doing right now? This is not the old you that I know. This is not the old Florian that I know. I heard this a couple of times. One of the reasons is that people want you to be the way, they want you to be predictable. They want you to be consistent with your old behavior. They prefer normalcy over improvement. And you really want to, once you really start working on yourself, you probably have also seen this with your business or any other endeavors that you decide to do, you will encounter setbacks, and usually you will encounter those setbacks or those criticism from people that are very close to you. And you need to seek out people that have changed your body before, and you need to reduce contact with people that tell you that you can't. And actually, I think not a lot of people in the fitness industry are talking about this. But this is something that if you let to bring yourself down from the people that are around you and from the people that you think have your best interest in mind, it's quite frustrating. So you need to realize that you can change, and you need to treat this body transformation thing like a business. So double down on your commitment, set a pay price to action, and be ready to sacrifice. Because if you don't treat this seriously, you will not get the results. This is not for dabblers, again. And realize that victims don't change their body, victors do. Okay, so you have to realize that you can change. You can change. This is fundamentally important before we move forward. So instead of asking you constantly, what if it doesn't work? Ask yourself, what if it does? I mean, imagine how much benefit it will have to your life. The second step on the 7-step journey is that you must reverse engineer. And frankly, this is what I do with every single client. You need to get clarity of where exactly you want to go in the future. So you want to write down the exact body measurements, your ideal weight. You want to find a picture of the ideal body for you, and remind yourself of that goal daily. Daily. You want to keep reminding yourself of what you want to achieve. Because if you don't remind yourself, it's just gonna fade into the subconscious abyss. And probably, yeah, I mean, 6 months from now, you'll put it up again, but it doesn't stay on top of mind. For you to achieve any goal, it needs to stay on top of mind. It needs to make a huge percentage of your daily thinking effort. So write down what differentiates your current body from your desired body, and be very specific. So for example, if you want to be 12% body fat, and if you, for example, Josh Belzer, before the stressed out individual that when he came to me working in the NHS, he told me that he wants to look like Jason Statham. I told him, okay, so what is Jason Statham? How would he define his physique? So he went very clear on how much he should weigh, how much body body fat percentage you should have, how is it currently like on the body fat percentage level, what is his ideal, and then you just write out the differences that you would like to achieve, and this will motivate you and keep you motivated during this journey. Also, write down what differentiates your current habits from your desired habits. So ask yourself, what do I need to become? And the only way you can ask yourself, what do you need to become, is when you've already internalized the first step, which is realizing that you can change and your body is not set in stone. Because frankly, it isn't. It's completely wrong if you blame your genetics or your other circumstances to how you currently look like. I mean, there's almost universally in the current time, there's almost nothing that you can't change if you're dissatisfied with your body. So instead of asking yourself, who am I? Ask yourself, who do I have to become? Number 3, you want to analyze your patterns, because a lot of about our life is simply about pattern recognition. Let me tell you about that. So you want to look at your past fitness endeavors and find out why they failed. You want to be very specific. Why did they fail? And look for patterns. Did you work out too early in the morning? Did you stop after 2 months? Was the nutrition change not sustainable? What was the reason that they did fail? And my clients kind of joke about it. But whenever I hear in my weekly reports, in my communication with them, that they fell off the bandwagon, which is not that often, to be frank, I just ask them, have you looked at the patterns? Do you know why you fall off the bandwagon? Because what you realize is that usually, let's imagine, you stick to your schedule for 2 weeks and it's exactly tailored for you. You don't need to do much changes. And then you've done such a good work, you've dropped a couple of pounds, a couple of kilos, and then you're like, okay, I mean, I deserve a little cookie. And then you get this cookie out of the cookie jar, and then next thing you know, you order McDonald's, you go on the drive-through, you stuff your face with vegan junk food stuff, you know? So these are the patterns, and this all started with a cookie from the cookie jar. So you need to look at the patterns. And then if you stop this at the beginning, if you say, no, I mean, I don't take a cookie right now, I can take it afterwards, you know, maybe after I wake up, so it doesn't fall apart that easily. So really look at the patterns and analyze what you're currently doing right and what you're doing wrong. And you must know yourself and spend some time on introspection. Let's give you a little bit of story about myself. I've tried to lose weight and gain a six-pack more than 10 times before I finally succeeded. And this is not an overestimation. I mean, I tried to gain a six-pack since I'm like, what, 14 or so, and like I got my six-pack like in my early 20s. So it took me like what, like 7-8 years or like 9 years to achieve it. And one of the reasons, first of all, we see here, one of the reasons I succeeded because I just didn't give up. But you couldn't imagine what I tried. I mean, I tried everything. I tried keto. I mean, I tried low carb. But this was all the rice back in the days back then. I tried working out 2 times a day, 7 days a week. I tried working out, running about 30 kilometers a week. You know, 3 times 10 kilometers. And just like I realized that this didn't work. Also, working out at 4 a.m. didn't work constantly, and working out 7 times a week didn't work. Yet I kept at it and improved. And finally, you look in the mirror and finally see that the results have been paid off. But there's a way to do this easier. And today I'm going to show you how you can do this. So instead of finding a strategy that fits everyone, find something that fits especially you, that is tailored to you. So if you're troubled with working out every day, working out 3 times a week is more than enough to get in great shape if you do it correctly. Again, you don't need to work out 7 days a week. I mean, who told you need to work out 7 days a week to see your results? If you want to go to an athlete level, yes, 7 days a week is 6 days a week, 7 days a week is kind of expected. But if you would like to lose some weight, gain some muscle, then usually what I start with is with 2 to 3 times a week in a very structured training. And you can't run, for example, and I hear this a lot. I would like to lose some weight, but just can't do cardio or can't go jogging. You have to understand that walking itself, a very low intensity activity, is enough to keep your weight loss journey going. The biggest lever when it comes to your weight loss is your nutrition. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you can't run to lose your weight. I mean, you can find something that really works for you. And a lot of my clients that are into yoga, and they ask me, "Hey, Florian, I would really like to do your schedule, but I'm just like I do yoga twice a week." I'm like, great, if it works for you, keep going. I mean, it's like physical activity. As long as it works for you, I mean, do it. You know, or clients tell me, "Hey, it's I would like to lose weight. I can't jog. Is walking okay?" Yeah, sure it is. Oh, sure it is. I just want to make sure that this works for you. And the same thing you should apply for your life too. So if you can't eat 6 meals a day, there are plenty of people who build muscle or lose weight with 2 meals a day. I mean, there's certain tweaks that you need to apply for, but really, it doesn't need to be that extreme. So instead of knowing all the diets and knowing all these strategies that there are, start to really know yourself and make sure that you know what makes you tick. Number 4, you want to track your progress. And not tracking your progress is the biggest beginner's mistake. So don't shoot blind on this journey. You want to measure what matters so you can iterate and improve. And the saying is true in the business world is that what gets measured gets managed. So personally, I let my clients track their weight on a daily basis and they submit progress pictures on a bi-weekly basis. And in a lot of the fitness industry, what you see is that the personal trainers or the trainers themselves, they don't bother to track your progress. Why could that be? Because if you would see no change, for example, in your weighing scale, or if you would see no change, for example, in the workout weight that you lift, I mean, it would put them out of business. A lot of marketing agencies, for example, they don't track how good their marketing effort is performing for you. Why? Because it would hold them accountable. And I do the exact opposite with my clients. I make sure that I see exactly if this is working and if we are on track. And if we're on other track, I make changes if the client is up for it. So you need to really measure what matters. And this might sound crazy here, but for me, it really is not crazy. We want to know that what we're doing is working. And if you're currently working with a trainer who doesn't track anything at all, I mean, he's probably just in there to milk you and then move on to the next, because apparently he doesn't really care if you see your results. You want to know that what we're doing is working. And Winston Churchill literally put this to an extreme. At the beginning of the Second World War, he installed a bureau so he gets a clear overview of the war effort. And this was not common practice. And because humans run away from the truth, as it can be painful. And this is maybe like a little bit of an extreme example, but it really goes to the extent of what humans are doing to run away from the truth. And Winston Churchill did the exact opposite. He knows that when in war or like in any other endeavor, people try to skew the numbers so they fit their needs. For example, the same thing happened like in Germany. Germany had no idea how much people they lost or how much people got killed of the opposite side because they didn't have this bureau. And Winston Churchill did the exact opposite and wanted to make sure that he had the exact overview of what was going on. So instead, he didn't run away from the truth. He ran straightly towards it. And the same thing I'm urging you to do right now. Okay, so this is like a little bit of a to-do list, what you can do when it comes to your weight loss, and a to-do list when it comes to muscle gain, when it comes to tracking. Because frankly, this is one of the biggest factors that I see why you will not achieve your results. And I want you to daily to track your weight. And what I tell my clients after they work with me, I tell them, hey, if you don't want, we don't continue working. Because frankly, I want you to be sufficient on your own. What I just want you to do, even if we don't work together, I want you to track your body weight on a daily basis. Why does this happen? Because you never let yourself off the hook. And if you look at the patterns in your life, when your weight loss was going great, you likely stepped on the weighing scale on a daily basis. But when your weight loss or your muscle building effort, they're not that great, you start to stop stepping on the weighing scale. Why? Because you're afraid of what you're gonna see. And I'm telling you that being a little bit scared of stepping on a weighing scale and then doing it anyway is way better than not stepping on the weighing scale at all. Because in the second point, you're running away from the truth. And the first point, you really embrace it. So daily, you want to step on the weighing scale. And the ideal time you do this is in the morning, after you went to the toilet for a big one, the pooping, and then you want to step on the weighing scale. And it's like this, you have a broad overview of where you are every day. Now, there are always a little bit of weight fluctuations depending on where you ate, and also like for if you're a woman, depending on your menstrual cycle. But really want to make sure that you have a broad overview of where your weight is. Bi-weekly, you also want to take progress pictures if you do a weight loss, and you really want to schedule this in your calendar and set a daily or a bi-weekly reminder so you keep yourself on track. I'm going to share with you afterwards why this is so important. And if you're required on to-do list on the weight loss, you want to track your fiber intake, because this is usually the case if you constantly feel hungry. You're not eating enough fiber. You want to track your fiber intake. You also want to track your hydration levels, because you want to make sure that we're properly hydrated. You want to track our calories, and if required, you can also track your sleep quality and sleep quantity. Because frankly, what you see in a lot of the times, if people are eating a lot of sweets, if they're eating a lot of sugary foods, their sleep quality is completely messed up. And this could be like, I'm not sure which one is cause and effect, but I've just seen that if you optimize sleep, if your sleep is great, you crave less sugary, less junk food during the day. And this is something that you should also look into if you want to track your weight loss. To-do list muscle gain, again, track your body weight. Track also your workout weight if you're training. So one of the biggest factors, if you actually gain muscle, is if you constantly improve the weight that you're training with. Because what are your muscles? What is the key task of your muscles? The key task of your muscles is to move your body. And the way they do it is they contract around your skeleton. You know, like they're like attached on two different bones. Let's imagine on your forearm and your upper arm. And if they contract, they move the body, which means the key task of a muscle is to generate force. That's the key task of muscles. The key task of fat is to be an energy storage. And if you reduce energy, then we're going to lose fat. But the key task of our muscles is to generate force. And if you constantly overload our muscles by putting more force, putting more weight on the muscle, we see muscle gain on the long term. It's not magic, it's cause and effect. Bi-weekly, you want to take progress pictures. You want to know that you're on track. And if required, you want to track your fiber, because you want to make sure that you eat more than you need. And if you eat too much fiber, you will feel constipated and you feel not hungry at all. So you maybe have to dial down your fiber levels a little bit. You want to increase your hydration levels. You want to track your calories if you don't gain sufficient amount of weight. And you want to measure circumferences of body parts if required, which means if you really want to have big arms, then tracking your weight alone, for example, is not sufficient. You want to measure if your arms are actually growing with the training. And the way you do it is simply get the circumference of your arms. Again, I want to hone this in. Tracking your progress is absolutely crucial if you want to see any results on this journey, if you want to keep motivated. And if I analyze all of my clients that were successful and that have seen the results compared to the clients that didn't, first of all, they were really committed and they track their progress relentlessly. They want to make sure that they're on track. And for example, look, track weight takes like 10 seconds a day. Track workout weight takes almost no additional time because you can do this during the training. Take progress pictures, 10 seconds. It doesn't need to be fancy ones. And track fiber, hydration level, or calories. If you would do it daily, takes less than 20 minutes. So it's not a huge effort that you would need to do right here. So instead of relying on emotions during this journey, you want to rely on data. And I'm honing in on this afterwards because I really want to make sure that we all are on the same page here. And step number 5. Step number 5, what we really want to make sure right here, just putting this box back in. Voila. Step number 5 is that we want to make sure that we embrace change. Okay, step number 1 is we realize, okay, we can change. And step number 5 is to realize that change is crucially important for us to see any results on this journey. Let's jump right into it. So what Elon Musk says is that most people don't like change, but we have to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. And I want you to hone in on this quote a little bit. We don't like change because it's usually painful, but we have to embrace change if the alternative is absolute disaster over the long term. And I'm here to tell you that this journey will not be easy. It can be simpler than you thought it might be, but it will need sacrifices and changes. That's how everything works in this life. You give something to get something. There's no such thing as a free lunch, so to speak. In this life, it's always you give something to get something. And most people constantly avoid sacrifices and can't even bear to track their progress. That's why their weighing scale is moving up and down in an unpredictable manner if they step on the weighing scale. So if you want to improve, you will need to learn to embrace change. You will need to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So don't hold your current beliefs and habits so dear. If your current habits or beliefs were serving you, wouldn't you already have your results? Now, this is a very tough and probably a little bit of a blunt questions right there. But imagine if your current beliefs and habits were so good, wouldn't you already be in the best shape of your life? You likely would, you know. So there's something wrong with your habits and something wrong with your beliefs. And I've seen the same thing. I mean, things here, I'm not special, you know. I'm not sitting on this horse and telling you, hey, your current habits or beliefs are wrong. I'm telling you because I had the same thing. I realized that my habits regarding or beliefs regarding weightlifting were completely flawed. That's why I didn't see results for quite some time. And I realized that my habits or beliefs when it comes to a career were completely flawed. That's why I didn't see results. I struggled for a couple of years. And also realized that my habits or beliefs when it comes to dating, for example, were absolutely flawed. That's why I struggled from extreme loneliness for like 8 months or so until I fixed this. I needed to evolve, so to speak. So don't hold your current beliefs and habits so dear. You can change. Remember, number one, you can change. And if you're not willing to embrace change, the problem here is your ego. It's not serving you and you're looking for an easy way out. The easy way doesn't exist. So I'm sorry if this is you, but you need a brutal wake-up call, because if you cannot embrace change, and if you think you can do everything by yourself, your vegan transformation is doomed and you're going to fail. Again, this is very blunt, but you need to understand this. You do not want to waste years and tons of energy on trying to fix this if it apparently has not been working. But why? Why is your vegan transformation doomed to fail if you cannot embrace change and if you constantly try to do it on your own? And the answer is quite simple. We take a look at our brain. And most of us never really ask ourselves, what does our brain do? And the brain, if you boil it down, has evolved to fulfill 3 tasks. Our brain is an immediate feedback mechanism, so to speak. And one of those tasks is avoidance of pain. The second task is seeking of pleasure. And the third task is avoidance of caloric expenditure, because our brain has evolved in a scarce environment. These are the 3 tasks that our brain is supposed to be doing. Now, have you realized something in those 3 tasks? They have a common denominator. It is that every single one of those 3 tasks is detrimental to any kind of positive change. Every single one. I want to repeat this. Every single one of those 3 tasks is detrimental to any kind of positive change. Every single one. Now let's go back to it. Avoidance of pain. Any change of let's imagine you want to start your business. It will be extremely painful. Seeking of pleasure. I mean, immediate gratification. You have to say no to immediate gratification. You have to say no, today, not this cookie. You know, today, I don't play video games, I work on this business. And you want to, I mean, avoidance of caloric expenditure. I mean, if you eat less, or if you eat better, so to speak, so you fuel your brain with less calories, or if you do more physical activity, You do the exact opposite of avoiding caloric expenditure. And we need to understand this, because essentially what we're doing, we're fighting a little bit against our brain in this weight loss. And that's why it's so tough. I mean, it's easy to gain a lot of fat mass because our brain has evolved to do it like this. But it's hard to do the exact opposite. So here's what every person in the fitness industry is afraid of telling you. Why? Because it doesn't really increase their bottom line if they're telling you this. But I just want to make sure my North Star of what I'm doing is that you see the results that you want. Okay, so here's what I'm telling you. Change is often painful. Change is often painful. And it's a war between our current self and our desired self. And you pick who will win or who will lose. Now, this is maybe a little bit of a dark way of looking at it. But if you take a look at number one, realize that you can change. And if you take a look that change is important, and if you take a look at the tasks of our brain, you have to understand this, that often it's a battle. It's a battle between who we are right now and who we want to become. And the good thing right there is that you can choose who will win or who will lose. Why? Because you can choose which one of those two fighters you feed. And everything you do when it comes to your desired self, so really, again, write down what you want to become. And everything you do to feed this desired self will make sure that this other desired self wins over your current self. And I have one client who suffers from alcohol addiction. So he will classify himself as an alcoholic. I won't disclose the name right here, but this is the way I told him. I told him, because he's also like in a high stress environment. He's working in the military industry, and I told him this really resonated with him. You have to understand that the battle that you're currently facing with your alcohol addiction is a battle between your current self and your desired self. Rationally, you know that you don't really want to be addicted to alcohol, but your current self just has those addictions in place. So realize that this fight of getting yourself out of there is literally a battle of your current self and your desired self. And that's why change is often painful, because you have to let loose of this old shell of yours and grow into a new one. So instead of running away from change, pain, or discomfort on this journey, constantly looking for ways to make this easier or simpler. I mean, there's a way to make it simpler, but there's not a way to make it easier, so to speak. Instead, you should embrace change. You should embrace discomfort, and you should embrace pain, because it's the only way that you're going to achieve your results on this journey. The sixth step on the 7-step process to vegan fitness as a busy vegan entrepreneur and professional is you want to commit fully to one course of action. If you want to get in your best shape, you need to commit fully to one course of action. So getting in your best shape takes commitment and belief. You can follow the best process, but if you don't put your head down and put in the work, your results will suck. This is really blunt, but you need to do the work again. You need to do the work, and make sure you follow a clear path with a caloric deficit if you want to lose weight, microbiome adjustments, which means plenty of fibers, and the regular measurement intervals, which means you want to track your progress. Adjust your routine, and then guess what? Put your head down and follow the process for 90 days. Commit to it relentlessly, and don't take an advice from your family or peers or a fucking guru. Your peers will ask why first. I guarantee that 90 days later, that's usually what it takes to transform your body. They will ask you, how did you do this? Are you truly vegan? Are you sure you're vegan? Because it's like, it will be a drastic change. And one of those things that I see here is usually when I notice that a prospective client is not committed, they talk a lot about, for example, we hop on a call, and with all of my clients, I first want to make sure that they're a good fit. And if I notice that a client is not committed, it's usually by the question of like, okay, so how much does it cost? Like the first question, how much does it cost? Because it's usually some people, they're used to paying $10 for like a PDF that will show them like to give them like a cookie cutter workout plan. What they will notice is that simply it's not enough to foster their commitment. I mean, if you're the most disciplined person there is, I mean, likely it is enough to just give you like a little bit of knowledge and that's it. But I mean, then probably Googling would suffice. But really, you have to put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. And one of the commitments, and that's some of you maybe have read the email that I sent out some days ago, is that's why I raised my prices almost 5 times, fivefold in the last couple of months, because I just noticed if I charge too little, I'm turning into a scam artist, because some people are just not following through, even if the path and the process that I outline is very simple and based on the schedule. It's simply because it's not enough commitment. It's not enough commitment that we're doing. Okay, so maybe if you currently have like this budget of like, okay, I just want to spend $20 a month on improving my body, then you're not committed enough. I'm gonna tell you right now, you're not committed enough. Your mindset should be, okay, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to achieve the results that I want, because it's just so damn important. And whatever brings me closer to the results, I will do. It doesn't matter what the price is, it doesn't matter what it takes. And if you have this mindset, there's nothing that will stop you. And if you look at all the athletes, I think I never had an athlete who gave me an objection at all. They see the value, they go for it. Also, the high level business people are like, funnily enough, they see the value, they go for it. They make it work. Why? Because they're fully committed to achieve it. So instead of asking yourself, okay, what will the gym cost me? What will the home gym cost me if you're into that? What will the equipment cost me? The healthy food cost me? What will the coach cost me? Ask yourself, what is the price of not doing this? And this is quite unconventional, because we never really ask ourselves, what is the price of not doing this? And the price of not doing this is regret. It's constant thinking that you cannot live in a body that you would like to have. And it's understanding that you're optimating on a suboptimal performance level, and understanding that you can do more than what you think is possible. And it's understanding that you can do more, but you're not doing more. And this is really the price of not doing this. And the 7th step that I would like to outline here for you is that you need to invest in mentorship and learn from somebody who has actually done it and is not on drugs. So let me ask you this. If you want to go to Fiji, would you charter a plane and get behind the controls yourself with no training, no map, and no co-pilot to guide you? So then why the hell would you try and charter your own vegan weight loss, your own vegan muscle gain to fit vegan level, to the great vegan body without the mentor and the proven system? I mean, why? If you all true to ourselves, it doesn't really make sense logically, because most of the people that are on this webinar right now, I mean, you have already tried the stuff on your own. You've tried to do more exercise, you've tried to change your nutrition, but it didn't work. So why would it change in the next couple of months? You will not learn the secret sauce here. And I personally have spent over $20,000 on training, and I've wasted the same amount on dumb ideas. I chewed through the more than 50 plus different supplements I didn't need. I nearly killed myself by following a keto diet, read over 235 books, and burned multiple years of my life I will never get back figuring this shit out. And over the time, I've spent more than 10,000 hours practicing this craft and really wanting to make sure that I know exactly what I'm doing. And believe me when I say that there's a shortcut and there's an easier way. And it's with mentorship from somebody who has a proven system, who has actually done it. And the same is true for your business. The same is true if you struggle with relationship. And I have, the funny thing actually, is that usually like the more high level people I work with a client who is a TV host. I will not disclose his name because he's a quite private person. And this guy, he has a coach on his life coach. He has a life coach, he has a business coach, he has a fitness coach, which is me. But usually they ask for help. Why? Because they know that there's an easier way and there's a shortcut. Maybe not easier, but a simpler way to achieve this. And it's by learning from somebody who has a proven system, who has actually done it. And the people I'm going to show you here again, the clients that I've worked with, these people have all thought that they can figure it out by themselves. And in reality, the hard truth is they ran towards the truth and they realized they couldn't. And they asked for help. And guess what? They have never looked back. I mean, Georg Martinka, this guy, I mean, he has been a winner almost his entire life. And it was like it took quite some swallowing in pride to tell me that he hasn't seen any results when he tried to do this on his own. Adam, I mean, absolute go-getter, and it took him like a lot of time again, or like a lot of thought process to really understand. Okay, he needs to ask for help. And Josh, I mean, the picture that you've seen before about this drastic transformation. I mean, it took him quite some time, especially like because he's a very busy person. And Kyle, I mean, he's a coach and he's an athlete. I mean, athletes really know what they're doing. Yet he swallowed his pride and he asked for help. Why? Because he realized that he couldn't do it on his own. Now you basically have two, this is the big picture of Josh, the better picture right here. So you basically have two options at this point going forward, and just want to lay them out to you. I don't want to pressure you here into anything, okay? But I just want to show you logically you have two options. You can go at it alone and spend tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands figuring this stuff out. And you want to get frustrated and wasting 3 to 10 years of your life. And totally, I told you I spent $20,000. I got educated in Switzerland, and I got educated over 3 years in a regular school interval with specialized in fitness. It's called the Swiss Academy of Fitness and Sports, and it's one of the most prestigious way how you can get educated, so to speak, in fitness. So if there's any secrets, I know them. So the second option that you have is you can learn the proven system from somebody who has not just done it, but actually mastered it, and is the best in the world at it. And I think no other, like very few fitness coaches, like I think no other in the vegan fitness niche can tell you that they did as much due diligence as I did. Now, if you're smart, and if you go with option number 2 and decide to work with me, here's what you're in for in terms of results and speed. So how does working with Florian look like? So this is a rough timeline for my clients and the results. So within the first week, I analyze your current routine and we define exactly what you need to do right now to move forward. This first week alone will eliminate all your guesswork and put you in the top 1% of health and fitness. Now this time might sound a little bit of extreme, but let me explain you. Why? Because maybe for the first time, you work with somebody that has spent more than 10,000 hours perfecting his craft. And this is not an understatement. This is not an overstatement. It's probably likely an understatement. It's like I really want to make sure to know the ins and outs of everything. So in the second week of working with me, we have your ideal nutrition and workout routine set up. And this is 100% personalized for you, which means this fits your busy schedule and agenda. It also fits your nutrition behavior to involve as little changes as possible while minimizing the feeling of hunger. And this is a big one here, 100% personalized. And you probably see this like, oh, if you check out other coaches, you know, it's 100% personalized to you, and then you pay like $100 or so a month. It is not personalized. It is not personalized because, frankly, in personalization, there's the good and the bad and the ugly. The ugly is the claim that it's personalized, when in reality it's cookie cutter and it doesn't go with the scientific principles. The second stuff in personalization is the bad, and it's where the claim it's customized but still cookie cutter, but it applies to scientific principles. And what I'm offering you here is the good, and this is 100% personalized, which means it is based on solid scientific principles and it's actually 100% personalized to you. It's not made by an Indian virtual assistant, which most fitness coaches are doing. It's made by me personally for you, because I want to make sure that you succeed. And the reason you have not seen results with previous programs or trainers is not only because of you. I told you before that you should look like it's only because of you, but it's frankly because the fitness industry is quite flawed. And the programs that are customized for you specifically, they're not customized. They're cookie cutter plans made from people that are not up to date of the recent scientific findings. And frankly, a lot of them, even if they claim they know how to work with vegans, they just simply don't. And I don't blame them because they have such a broad customer base, like 10,000 of customers, and they really can't track of which one needs what. So with the third step is within the first month, you should see your first transformation. Likely in the first week, you will see a proof of concept, which means you will wait, you will see a slight appearance change in your body, your weight will move down a little bit or move up where your goal is. So within the first month, you will feel like you have control over your body again. I check in with you on a weekly basis. They're called weekly reports, and these are questions structured to motivate you and hold you accountable. And the communication is mainly via mail. But what you can also have, you can have calls on demand and reach out to me whenever if you feel stuck. And this is really, I mean, everything in this program is optimized to make you succeed. It's not optimized to make my day great, or to make my life great. No, it's optimized to make you succeed. And the fourth step is that within the second and third month, we improve and we progress your routine. So after 90 days, you look in the mirror and you feel and you see a completely different person that you know yourself to be. You will reach in 90 days what others achieve in 900 days, or frankly, never. Why? Because they never made the commitment to follow such a program. Okay, and again, it doesn't need like 100% of discipline to see great results on this program. It just needs to have, you need to have the commitment and need to give this your full shot. So if you really want to look better and be a great example for the vegan movement, if you are fully committed to achieving this, I can tell you that my service is the best option there is. You can go about it right now to accomplish this. And no service even comes close. I want to repeat this, no service even comes close. So who is this for again? If you decide to go for this, vegans that are driven in other areas of their life but just can't seem to get the hang on fitness and nutrition, that's who this is for. Vegans that have been prioritizing business and other areas of life over health and now are looking to finally get their health under control and build a lean, strong, and attractive body. And I want vegans with skin in the game that have already tried 1 to 2 programs, diets, and realized that did not work. In fact, frankly, most of my clients have tried 10 plus programs over the years, and they realized that did not work. Vegans that are coachable and are willing to commit to one course of action and focus on it relentlessly. Because frankly, I'm at that point in my life, I'd only want to work with people that I really want to help. And if I know that I can help you, and if I know that you'll be a great fit for this program, I'm going to show you this is what we should do. So if this sounds like you and you want to skyrocket your vegan fitness results to drastically high levels, we should talk. So over the next 3 days, I've set aside some time to talk to you and I see if I can help you. We will talk for roughly 45 minutes and I'll map out an exact action plan for you to follow so that you can hit your best shape ever in the next 90 days, because that's usually what it takes to transform. And I really treat this like a doctor. I take a look at your exact situation and give you an overview of where you're stuck and where you should improve on. And multiple people alone have told me that this call was the most valuable 45 minutes they've spent working on their health and fitness this year. And some of them didn't sign up for my service, so to speak, because I only tell you my offer and how I work if I know that you would be a great fit for this service and that you can see the results. Because the last thing I want is signing you up for this and then suddenly tell me, oh, this is not what I'm interested in. I see that you don't follow through, you're not committed enough. So if you hop on this call and I've noticed that you're committed enough and you have all the necessary ingredients in place to have drastic results, I'm going to show you how you can work with me and what the price cost and everything would be, But if you're not committed, I'm just going to help you out a little bit, and then we can part ways again. So no pressure. And if you want to have this call with me, this 45-minute call with an expert that has perfected the craft of busy vegan entrepreneurs and professionals, this is my circle of competence. You can go to qualitygains.com/apply. And right now, as of this webinar check, there are over 90 people on this webinar. And my schedule can only handle about 10 calls over the next 3 days. So you must apply now. And first come, first serve. So you go to qualitygains.com/apply. Please respond to the questions honestly and in full detail. Because if I notice already you fill out the questions, you might not be a good fit for this program, I'm going to politely decline the appointment, because I want to make sure that you're a great fit and you're going to see results on this program. So if this is something for you, if you think I know what I'm doing, and if you know that you've been trying those things but you haven't seen results, You have been trying the programs, you've been trying the trainers, and right now it's just time to step up and go to that next level of your vegan fitness and performance, because you know it's time to do something. Then go to qualitygains.com/apply. So if you have any questions right now that have not been answered during this webinar, you can ask me them right now on the right side on your panel. I'll be staying here for like 1 minute, and afterwards I'll be going back to do my Florian stuff, so to speak. So if you have any questions, just write them down here on the right hand side. Also, let me know that you enjoyed this webinar. Is there something you would like to improve on? Thank you so much, Brian. Means a lot to me. I've been working a lot to make this webinar as good as I possibly can. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for coming on this call. Means a lot to me. Thank you for being vegan. Thank you for being a positive example for a positive movement. It seems like there's no question right now so far. So thank you for tuning in again. It was awesome to have you on this call. If you, what do you think of angel-keyed biology if human starvation? This is like this is something that I'm not proficient in. What is angel-keyed biology? And if humans, it's not something that I'm proficient in, Matthew. To be frank, I would have to look up this and then get back to you. But I'm not. It's not something that I would. Of human starvation. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit. What you mean with that? Otherwise, I will need to hop off in a couple of seconds because we've been going a little bit off board here. Also, is it true that keto burns muscle to produce glycogen? See, what you have to understand is that keto is probably the worst nutrition routine that you should follow when it comes to weight loss, unless you're wired in some way differently, because you are neuromuscular system, your neurological central nervous system needs about 100 grams of carbohydrates to survive properly, and the only way your brain can survive is by getting a sufficient amount of glucose in, which means it's carbohydrates. So what your body does, if it notices, okay, there's not enough glucose, so to speak, for our brain, what it does, it turns fatty acids like ketones and then feeds them to the brain, which mimics kind of like a starving situation. There's a couple of things that I see wrong with that. First of all, keto diet generally is so popular because a lot of people think if they lose 2-3 kilos in the first week that it's fat, when in reality it's water weight. Why? Because what happens? You don't eat any carbohydrates, which means your body says, okay, there's no carbohydrates coming in. What your body does is there's glycogen storage, which means there's carbohydrate storage in your muscles. If there's nothing coming in, they recycle or they use those glycogen storage, and those glycogen storage, those carbohydrate storage, is tied to water, which means if you lose 1 gram of this, I hope this is not getting too complex here, but just want you to know here is that when you lose 1 gram of carbohydrates, you lose 3 grams of water. So essentially what it is in the first week is you lose a lot of water weight. You lose a lot of water weight, and it's not fat. And then afterwards, like a lot of performance problems start coming in, because frankly, your brain doesn't have sufficient amount of glucose, so to speak, to perform properly. And you also see a lot of performance problems in the gym. So it's like it doesn't make any sense at all. And if you look at all recommendations when it comes to athletes, it's almost universally as a huge amount of carbohydrates, So keto burns muscle kinda because it's like your amino acids are also used for muscle for performance if you're like in an extreme situation. But you want to make sure that you follow a nutrition that is like balanced and has a focus on carbohydrates instead constantly avoids them. Okay, Matthew, I hope this responded to your question. Yeah, it's like in general, just like I mean, don't find more results or more reasons why this diet is not something that you should be doing. You know, you just have to notice that, like, okay, keto is not worth your time, Matthew. So in my opinion, and frankly, the most professionals' opinion, is that you should focus your nutrition routine on carbohydrates instead of keto. Okay, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the questions that you posed. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Guy. Thank you for tuning in. And if you want to work with me directly, if you want to hop on this call, you can go to qualitygains.com/apply. I wish you an awesome day. Thank you for tuning in again, and see you next time.